Hey guys, so I originally had a massive script and a lot of guns written down for this video, but I decided to just scrap that, delete the script, delete that video because I already had it recorded in the voiceover, and I was like, it was like 25 minutes long for no apparent reason. I was just talking about guns that Vanguard needs to add to the game before it's over, before the life cycle of the game, before the content cycle of the game is over with and Modern Warfare 2 comes out. Because Modern Warfare 2 comes out in 4 months, give or take, and then we still haven't had an announcement for an alpha. We got a alpha announced yet for the game, so I'm assuming sometime in the next month we're going to get an alpha because rumors were suggested that the beta is August. So if we're going to get an alpha, we have to get one pretty relatively soon, unless they're not doing an alpha, which I find very confusing because IW started with giving Call of Duty alphas, and then I don't know why they just stopped giving us an alpha. But anyways, we're going to move into the subject of today's video. Now, these are guns that I think, one, should have been on Vanguard at launch, should have been in the game at launch. I don't know why they fucking weren't. And two, need to be in the game before the game is done, before no one cares about the game. Granted, no one cares about the game now, but you get my point. So we're just going to go through the list. I'll list the name of the gun. I'll let you guys see what it looks like, and then we'll move on because I don't want to stay too focused on certain guns. Certain guns I will because I actually own certain guns in real life that I list down, but let's get into it. So to start off, the guns that need to be in Vanguard that should have been in the game at launch, and a couple of them are already in the game just through campaign. For some reason they haven't put it in multiplayer. So first off, we're starting with Germany. Now we got the Gewehr 41. Now the Gewehr 43 is in the game. I mean, there's one thing wrong about the Gewehr 43 in the game, which is it has a wrong magazine. The magazine was never curved. The magazine holds 10 rounds like the standard magazine. Again, there's a picture on screen of the Gewehr 43. For some reason in the game as a curved magazine, which looks stupid. Anyways, now the Gewehr 41 clearly is the first iteration of the Gewehr semi-automatic guns that Germany designed during World War II. But yeah, here's a picture of it, and I would like to see this one added, but it didn't necessarily have to be in the game at the start. I would just like to see more variety in the battle rifle category. Next up, we have the FG42. Now, the FG42 was in literally every single World War II Call of Duty, including Sledgehammer's last game, which was Call of Duty World War II in 2017. It was in that game. Don't know why it's not in this game. What I really hope, if Sledgehammer makes another World War II game for some reason, I think that would be in like 2026 or something. I'm not entirely sure. But their next game, if it's a World War II game, just add every gun that saw extensive combat from the British side, the German side, and the US side, Canadian, all that stuff. Put all of those guns in that people know and have played with in previous Call of Duties in the game first, and then add guns as DLC that no one knew about, that are prototypes or something, not the other way around. Anyways, the FG42 you can kind of classify it as a battle rifle, but you can also kind of classify it as an assault rifle or an LMG. I don't know, whatever you want to classify it as. I think it's technically an assault rifle or technically a squad support weapon. But yeah, it was specifically designed for German paratroopers, the Fallschirmjäger, so it's a pretty nice gun. If you guys have played other World War II Call of Duties, you know what I'm talking about. Again, image on screen. Next up, we have in the definite LMG category, which I don't know why this gun was never in the game to begin with, is the MG34. Now, it's literally in the name. This weapon was designed and came out and used before the MG42. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't in the game. Again, image on screen. Next up, to end the German category off of, we have the Walther P38. Now, they have the Luger in the game, but they don't have the Walther P38 for some bizarre reason. Again, I don't know. Sledgehammer's choice in adding guns to the game is weird. Look at Season 3. I don't know when this video will go out, but look at Season 4, sorry. They're adding guns that I've literally never heard of in my entire fucking life. And right now, there's no information on the guns because no one has been able to get their hands on the guns, but for right now, they look to be either prototypes or just never existed and never saw combat, so I don't know why they're adding it to the game. Also, Vanguard's kind of turning into COD Mobile or COD Online with all the wacky and stupid shit they're adding to the game that makes the game it completely loses what the whole premise and time period of the game is, but that's a different topic, and that's a big controversial thing going on in the COD community right now, especially with Vanguard. There's people that say, oh, you don't want to have fun in Call of Duty, and then there's people like, well, it's a World War II game, so it should kind of, stay focused on being a World War II game, which I align more with, because if you make a World War II game, stay along the lines of a World War II game. Don't put fucking helicopters in a World War II game. Don't put fucking Tron-looking ass characters in a World War II game. I say that, this is kind of hypocritical, I say that because I literally bought the Godzilla skin. That's a little hypocritical, but it's Godzilla. It doesn't make sense, but in the terms of the Godzilla storyline, it kind of makes sense because the Godzilla storyline started during and after World War II. So, anyways, I digress. On to the Americans. So the Americans, we got quite a lot of guns here. First of all, again, this was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game, the M3 grease gun. Everyone knows this gun because you've played Call of Duties before this. Next up, we have one of, I would say, probably the COD community's World War II, like a World War II weapon. Their most beloved sniper rifle is the M1903, or the sniper variant, which is the M1903A4. There's not really a difference in the guns, just one's made further on down World War II and stuff. Again, don't know why it's not in the game. Next up, we have the M1917 American Enfield, which I believe the designation is the P17. Now, I list the British version in this video. The only difference is the calibers, and one's American made and the other one's British made. So the American Enfield P17 would be a nice addition to the game. Don't foresee it being added to the game because not many people know about the gun, but it's a nice gun to be put in the game. Plus, I have this gun. It's a very fun gun to shoot. Next up, which again, I want to see this gun because it was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game, is the M1 Carbine and its variants. Now, there's, I think, 3 or 4 variants of the M1 Carbine. There's the standard M1 Carbine that everyone knows, and then you have the M1A1 Paratrooper Carbine, which is a carbine solely used by the paratroopers and for the paratroopers. Again, image on screen. And then there's the M2 Carbine. Now, some research shows that there's an M3 Carbine, but I don't think many saw service. I don't even think many of the M2 Carbine saw service. And the difference between the M1A1, M1, and the M2 Carbine is the M2 Carbine is full auto. It's a full auto version of the previous iterations of the M1 series carbines. Again, and it was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game, Call of Duty World War II. So again, don't know why it's not in this game. Next up for LMGs, which I hope they add because there's no American LMG in the game as far as I know. So adding the Browning M1919 A4/A6, also known as the 30 cal, the Stinger, which the Marines, there's only like one case of the Stinger ever being used in combat, and it was a badass US Marine who took I think it was the stock and the trigger guard of an M1 Grand, and then a pistol grip off a Thompson, and then jury rigged it to a 30 cal, and then made it shoulderable, and then he added a carry handle to the barrel so he could, shoulder it or hip fire it. Next up for Russia, we actually have a couple for Russia. Now, 2 of the weapons are the same, but not really. So we already have the Mosin Nagant in Call of Duty Vanguard, but we don't have the M38 and the M44 carbine versions of the Mosin Nagant. I actually own both of these in real life too, and they're very fun. They're short. They're basically short Mosin Nagants, not the way how short you can make the Mosin Nagant in the game right now. Not that short, because that never happened. That never existed. But these are carbine lengths, a little bit longer than the M1 carbine of the Mosin Nagant, and I would like to see them added to the game. I don't think they'll ever be added to the game because we already have the 9130 added to the game. Next up, we have the AVT-40, which is basically a full auto version of the SVT-40. Now, again, this was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game. I don't know why it's not in this game. I don't have much to say about it. I don't know if this gun saw extensive action during World War II. So, yeah. Next up, we have the Japanese guns. Now, there's literally only 2 guns for the Japan, which is the Type 99, which was in Call of Duty World at War. Was, I think, the only Japanese LMG in the game. And then we have a Japanese pistol, the Nambu, which again was in Call of Duty World War II and was in World at War. So, don't know why those aren't in the game either. And then lastly, we have the British guns. Now, the British guns, we got a couple here. So we got the Delilah carbine, which is they took a Lee Enfield and then integrally suppressed it and then rechambered the gun into 45 ACP. It's a little weird of concoction of a gun, but again, it was in Sledgehammer's previous game, World War II. Added as a DLC weapon, I don't know. Added as just a random weapon drop, which I think they should start doing because they only got 2 seasons left until they're done with the game. So I think at this point they should just start dropping guns out of nowhere. I think that would give a lot more people the ability to want to play the game again if they're adding just weapons without being a season drop. And then next up we have the British version of the American Enfield, the Enfield P14, which is chambered in .303, not .30-06 like the American counterpart. And then next up we have 2 of my favorite British rifles of all time, and I actually own one of them. So firstly is the Lee Enfield No. 1 Mark III, also known as the SMLE, which was the British service rifle during World War I. I really hope they add this one. And then next up we have the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I, which is one I own in real life, which is a super fun gun to shoot. I absolutely love it to death. Now this gun, the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I, is actually already in the game. It's in campaign, only in 1 or 2 missions, and they did kind of fuck it up because one, the Lee Enfield takes 2 5-round stripper clips for a total of 10 for an internal magazine. You can also take the magazine out, so do with that what you will. And then also the rear sight block is actually wrong on the gun as well, but no one gives a fuck. Only people who actually like guns give a fuck. But again, it's already in the game, so I don't know why it's not in multiplayer. There's literally no excuse for them not to add it to multiplayer. Kind of annoying that if they do add it, it's going to be a DLC weapon, but literally just fix the gun a little bit and then just add it as a weapon drop to the game randomly. I don't know why it's not in the game. And then next up we have one more variant of the Lee Enfield, which is a shortened down version of the Lee Enfield, which is the Jungle 7 carbine, or the No. 5 Mark I, I think it's what it's called. Own this one in real life too. It's a very fun gun to shoot. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. And then the last 2, one's an SMG, which is the Sterling SMG. If you guys recognize that name, it's the gun that the Star Wars Stormtroopers use. It's a real gun. They just didn't make that gun up for Star Wars. It's a real gun that they just demilled so it couldn't shoot real bullets or blanks. And then you know the rest of that. Also, this gun was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game. Next up and lastly, we have the Lewis LMG, which also I'm pretty sure was in Sledgehammer Games' previous game. A lot of these guns were in their previous game that should have been at launch and need to be in the game before the game's over. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I do apologize for the background noise. This mic's sensitive and I have to do a lot of filters in Sony Vegas so you guys don't hear all the background bullshit in the background clearly. But yeah, I know that was going over the guns very quickly. I just wanted to get it over with and not make this video too long. I'm gonna end it here, but let me know down in the comments which gun out of this list that you really want to see added. I would prefer all of them, but I really want to see the FG42, the MG34, the Lee Enfields added to the game as well, and the M1 carbine if I had to pick a few. So without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, ding dong the notification bell so you guys know when I upload. Hopefully I'll try and get this video up today, which is the 21st. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have videos of the new guns, the new maps, along with the Zombies map as well. I'm gonna actually record my first time playing the new Zombies map. I say new, but the new Zombies map first, and that will go up on the 22nd, hopefully. And then, yeah, without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Obsessed with Modern Warfare.